All right, good morning and welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about how to solve our log equations in a couple different ways. However, either way that you do it, you're going to want to start. If you look at both of these, we saw how to expand it. We can do the opposite of those, and we're going to condense them. So both of these would need to be condensed. So that'll be our first step. Also, I kind of jumped right in, but just a couple of reminders. Make sure you are getting your work done each week. This week we had an It's Learning assignment on either Monday or Tuesday, depending on which day you had to class. Some of you are doing a great job. It's not very long. I think it's 6 questions. We got to stay on top of things. Today there will be another brief assignment, and then make sure on Friday we will have another brief quiz. So just continue to stay on top of things. I don't want your grades to drop just because we are remote. So as we said, the first thing we're going to do is condense, and then there's 2 different things that'll happen. So first thing we're going to do is condense. Then in some situations we will have to rewrite and solve it. And that's when log is only on one side. In other situations, such as when log base 2 is on both sides, we are able to cancel it. So either way, in our case, we would start by condensing. So if we look here, log base 2 of 3 plus log base 2 of x. When they are plus, that means multiply. So we can rewrite this as log base 2 of 3x, or 3 times x. That will equal log base 2 of 6. And now at this point, we can cancel out both those log base 2's, and we're left with 3x equals 6. We'll divide by 3. We'll get x equals 2. And we are done. Now the next one, same concept to start. We're going to condense. So we're going to do log base 2 still of 3x. However, this time notice instead of log base 2 of 6, it was just 6. So that will equal 6. From here now, we would have to rewrite it. So think base stays base, the other 2 switcheroo. So base stays base, 2 is the base. Raised to the 6th will equal 3x. 2 to the 6th, hopefully we know, is 64. That will equal 3x. We'll divide by 3. Now 3 does not go into 64 evenly, so we can just rewrite it. X equals 64 divided by 3. And we can reduce if we are able, but the only thing that goes into 3 is 1 and 3. And 3 does not go into 64 evenly, so we can leave it like that. So once again, the first thing we're going to do is condense. However, if we look at example 1 and 2 here, there's nothing that we have to condense. We're good. So now we either need to rewrite it or cancel. The only way you can cancel is if the log is on both sides. So in our case here, we'll have to rewrite it. So base stays base, so 5 stays as our base. The other 2 switcheroo. 5 to the 3rd equals 2x plus 1. So that gives us 125, which equals 2x plus 1. And remember, if you don't know 5 to the 3rd, it's just 5 times 5 times 5, or use your calculator. Okay, help yourself out. I don't want you making mistakes just because you can't do the simple math part. Okay, so if that's hanging you up, pull on a calculator. That's fine. Okay, so we get 124 equals 2x, and then we're going to divide by 2, and we will get x equals 62 as our answer. Okay, on example 2, ln is on both sides, so we can cancel that out, and we're left with 5x minus 1 will equal x plus 8. From here, we'll add that 1 over, then subtract the x over, divide by 4, and we have x equals 9 over 4. Once again, we'll check if anything can reduce. The only thing that goes into 9 would be 1, 9, and 3. And 1 goes into 4, but that doesn't help us. 9 and 3 do not. So we're good. All right, now in our next example, we do have to rewrite this, or condense it, I mean. So they all are base 5, so log base 5. Now notice here we are subtracting. If we are subtracting, that means we're going to divide. So we'll put x divided by 4 here. If it makes you feel better, put parentheses around that. And now at this point, we can do log base 5 on both sides, so we can cancel that out. And we are left with x divided by 4 equals 1 divided by 2. Okay, from here, we need to cross multiply. Now, if you don't remember how to cross multiply, you could do it just by multiplying one side by 4 and then multiplying the other side by 2, but that's essentially the same thing as cross multiplying. So x times 2, 1 times 4. That'll give us 2x equals 4. Divide by 2, we get x equals 2. All right, now on example 4, it's already condensed, but we need to rewrite it. In order to do that, hopefully you remember what is right there. So what is invisible right there, and hopefully you remember if it doesn't show up, that means it is a 10. So if we have a 10 there, it'd be 10 to the second, because base stays base, equals x minus 3. The other two switcheroo. So that gives us 100 will equal x minus 3. We'll add that 3 over. 103 equals x. All right, go ahead, flip it over to the back now. We've got a few more we want to practice, a few situations where it gets a little bit more complicated. So first thing we need to do in example 5 is, once again, condense. So since they're adding right here in between, that means we're going to multiply them. So it's log base 2 of 6x. That will equal 3. Now in this case, there's not a log on the other side, so we have to rewrite it. 2 to the third equals 6x. 2 to the third we know is 8. We'll divide by 6 on both sides. We'll get x equals 8 over 6. However, hopefully you guys know that can reduce, so x will equal 4 over 3, and that will be our final answer because 2 goes into both 8 and 6. All right, now our next one, be careful on this one. Be easy to make a mistake here, but when that 2 is out front, remember using our power rule, if we condense it, it becomes log of x squared. That will equal log of 49. Now we can cancel out these logs because they're both don't have a number, which means they're both base 10. So we're left with x squared equals 49. Now here we have to be careful. We're taking the square root, but when we're dealing with logs, we have to have a positive answer, okay? So since they're the inverse of our exponential, the log only works with a positive, so greater than 0. So x, in our case here, will have to equal 7. And if you don't believe me, you can try -7 and plug that in here and type it in and see what you get. Your calculator will tell you it's an error. It cannot do it. All right. Example 7 here. We will need to rewrite it. However, we have to remember there is something invisible. So ln, there is an invisible e for that because that is ln is the same, remember, as log of e. Now ln is the natural log. That's kind of the proper way to write it. But for us to rewrite it, we'll need to put this back into log e of x equals 12. We rewrite that, we'll get e to the 12th equals x. Okay, from here, you're going to do e, so remember second, and we'll do e to the 12th. Hit enter, and there's my answer, 162754. So I know that's kind of long. 162,754. And then we want to go 3 decimal places, so 0.791. And that is our answer. All right, so now on the other side, the next one. Once again, this one has a 3 out front, so like we did up above, that has to come to the, I misspoke. All right, so sorry, once again, what I meant to say is we could bring that 3 up top, okay? But if we bring that 3 up top, all of this would have to get cubed, which will make it more complicated, x to the third. Instead, if you look at the difference on this one, there was a log on both sides, so dividing by 2 wouldn't really help us. However, on this one, since it's just a 21 on the other side, if we divide both of these by 3, we can get rid of that. We won't have to worry about that. So now, this is still ln of 2x, but now it equals 7. Now, we can rewrite that ln as the log e of 2x, which will equal 7. So now we do e to the 7th will equal 2x if I rewrite it, and divide that by 2. So now I come into my calculator, and to find out what x equals, I will type in second e to the 7th, okay, divided by 2. And we get 548. Now we got to go to 3 decimal places, so 0.317. And that is our final answer. Okay, just one more problem I need to do. So this last one may be a little bit more difficult. When we condense this, it's still log base 4. But we're going to have the 2x minus 1, that whole quantity, divided by that x plus 3. And all of this will equal 2. Now, the good news is we can rewrite this. Some things will clean up. So 4 to the second, base stays base, the other two switcheroo, equals 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 3. At this point, 4 squared is 16. 16 over 1. The reason I'm going to put it over 1 is now when I set it equal here, I can cross multiply. So I'll get 16 times x plus 3 will equal 1 times 2x minus 1. Now I'm going to go up here because I ran out of room. So 16, we bring that in, we'll get 16x plus 48 will equal 2x minus 1. We'll move the 2x over, subtract it, and we'll have 14x plus 48 equals negative 1. Subtract the 48 over. We'll get 14x to equal negative 49. All right, we'll divide by 14. So we get x equals negative 49 over 14. Now, at this point, we're not quite done. We can reduce that, and we will then get x equals negative 7 over 2 as our answer. Okay, so the final summary I want to talk about is basically we have 2 different ways we can solve these equations. We can either cancel our logs, or we can rewrite it. And when we rewrite it, we'll use base stays base, the other two switcheroo. So let me know if you have any questions, and hope you guys have a great day.